So the big one, Knoxville, is going on.
It's not okay. We'll talk about Knoxville. We can do that.
What?
Well, I didn't know if you had any more results from anything. You probably got more on your list, like north, south.
Yeah, that's after. I figured we'd do that after Knoxville.
All right, we'll talk about Knoxville
because Knoxville's the talk of the racing world lately.
Well, yeah, because it's cool because sprint cars and it's sold out and they're awesome.
Kyle Larson won.
And they're awesome.
And Kyle Larson.
That didn't have anything to do with Kyle Larson because the sprint cars are awesome.
I think a little bit with Kyle Larson.
Ask it. Just like Snapchat I sent you from one of our great Dirt Nerd fans.
Yeah, I woke up early in the morning, had the Snapchat from Duane, and two drunk guys screaming at me. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I guess one of them listens to the podcast.
Yeah,
the other one's on the
late
podcast.
Models suck, Elliott. And when Dwayne's not on the podcast, I turn it off.
That's fine. We'll get Duane off here more then. We'll get back down to those 6 listeners.
That's right. But yeah, it was awesome. It was packed. It was the biggest Wednesday night crowd I've seen, biggest Thursday night crowd. Saturday is the first time it sold out in a while. And it was so big of a crowd, they quit selling pit passes.
Yeah.
I've never seen a track quit selling pit passes.
So Saturday night, I know for the stupid logistical question here, because I've never been there. It seems like it's hit or miss as haulers in the infield.
There's never haulers in the infield.
But even like prelim nights even?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I saw like little trailer, like, garden trailers. But I thought
have your house. You got to unload everything in the infield. Now, some people
even like a little 28-foot tag enclosed hauler. Okay.
Now, some people are getting, like you said, little
lawn trailers.
And putting a car and your stuff in there. Because if not, you got to. So a lot of them still unload everything and put there. But there's some of them get some enclosed trailers, or not enclosed trailers, but open trailers.
I thought I saw a picture of someone working out of like a 24-foot enclosed trailer, but apparently I didn't see.
Well, they might have been
not in the pits though.
No, correct.
So okay,
yeah, because it's funny because I went to the race promoters forum. Rex and Larry asked me to come to that. Then they had Steve O'Neill and Steve Beitler. But it's cool because that's one thing, because they talk about the state of sprint car racing and different things, and it's really cool. Then they have some fan questions, but Larry's like, I got a fan question because he had one of the fair board members was there from Knoxville too. And, the fair's got to approve everything still, and it's better with some tracks than others. Yes, and we talked about that because 2 of the people on the panel deal with fair boards, 1 don't. And but Larry was like, I got a question for you. How in the heck do you have a racetrack with 23,000 seats and pits too, and there's not a parking lot whatsoever? There's no parking lot. How do you get that many people with no parking lot? Where's that at? Knoxville. There's no parking lot. No, it's just people's front lawns and wherever you find a spot. And churches, businesses parks, across the street, people's houses, and so but you think about that. I mean, place sold out, and now you're talking on 97 haulers. That's got to park somewhere around there too. And fans for, I don't know how many was in pits, what they cut the pit pass sales off. So let's say 30,000 people there Saturday night and no parking lot. Yeah. In a town of 8,000. It's like putting it downtown Bryan, Ohio. It's cool. I mean, it's and the people welcomed back. One thing I found out is this COVID deal of them not having it last year and stuff like that is one reason everybody came out. And there's 6 of them, 3 couples. I'm going to say mid 60s flat track motorcycle fans. Oh, they knew Sammy Swindell and Scotty Thiel because they're from Wisconsin. They didn't know anything. They didn't even know there's an A main every night. Oh, nice. Yeah, they didn't know. That was pretty new to sprint car racing. Yes, pretty green. And it's like, well, because we're talking to him, because I'm like, so why come to the Knoxville Nationals if you don't it's always been on our bucket list, and we're in our mid 60s, and when the pandemic hit and they didn't have it, and people were passing away from COVID, it's like, we got to go. Yeah. That what happens if they cancel it again or this and this. So you had people like that. There's some newbies there, and yet Larson factor was in there a little bit, but there's a lot of new sprint car fans or fans that knew sprint cars. This wasn't NASCAR fans. And but yeah, it has great racing. The shuttles are back. The shuttle people that haven't been around in Knoxville. and I've kind of said that. And so did some of the other people. I mean, the town, and this town still goes all out, but they used to go out a lot more than they did.
Mm-hmm.
And some people started bitching, and the cops started getting more strict, and
Yeah.
just and I get it.
I saw there was a posting from Knoxville, the town, about do's and don'ts, or what no push starting sprint cars on the street. Yeah, the
mayor made a public address announcement at the track too. He shows up, the mayor goes, and he was cool. I mean, he's like, everybody come back next year and bring a friend. Let's pack it,
Yeah,
of course. But but some of that went away. Like they used to have shuttles shuttle you around, and some of that stuff started going away. But it was back to full tilt, everything back like it was 5-6 years ago, and because the town missed it.
Oh, I bet.
Like I said, everybody that bitched about it, like I said, more and more people start big. Well, think about it, if you're not into the racetrack, or you are into racing, but you got to get to work, and there's 25,000 people invading your town, parking in streets and parking in yards and all that stuff, and you're still trying to do your normal job. Your work don't say, well, hey, it's Knoxville Nationals. You can't, if you slack off or don't get here in time, or all this stuff. Guess what? That don't usually work. But so I get that part. But they said there's more and more people complaining, but it says everybody was anxious this year, and you could see. I mean, there was. The garage sales were back, and just a lot of cool things. There's a lot of stuff to do like there used to be.
Good. That's always good. It was, that's one thing like the Prairie Dirt Classic has, is the whole town's involved, right? It's not just a track thing, and that's what I've always understood Knoxville being too.
It is, but you get some people, but a lot of people are staying in town at people's house. They said a lot of people that's never done it before. Hosted people are like, yeah, we'll do it just because
it's an extra few $100 in your pocket.
Well, like I said, it gets people staying in town.
Yeah,
we want them to spend money in town.
Yeah, and it seems like it's cool. Again, I got to go out there one of these days, but there's some t-shirt trailers on the track. There's some t-shirt trailers across the street. There's
Dingus,
some like
Hy-Vee,
you just kind of walk around, and it's kind of like you said, the whole town's immersed.
It is.
So,
it is
cool stuff.
Seen your brother. Your brother who passed me.
You went and got some coffee, did you?
No,
enjoyed some coffee.
He's staring at me the one day.
You're there for the live show, were you?
No,
for the coffee show.
He's staring at me at the dingus, and I was like, go ahead, say something.
I would say, how many drinks did you have in you? Because
if
he was staring at you, you probably said something back.
It was close. I was being nice. But yeah, I mean, the racing was good, and Saturday night, I think the first half they made was better than the second half, but the second half ended up decent at the end.
Yeah, last 5-6
I
laps.
thought Don was going to get him. I really did.
So let's go through it. Wednesday night. Let's see if we can remember. I can't remember.
Of course
I know Friday. Wednesday, who won?
David Gravel.
And the surprise there was no surprise. That was Thursday when Larson didn't transfer, right? He raced Thursday night.
Yeah.
Larson, right?
He raced Thursday night.
Okay, so Wednesday night was Gravel, because I'm trying to think who were the top three that transferred in, though.
Well, it goes by points. There wasn't any.
Oh yeah, it's not necessarily top three finishers.
So he
and Don. That's right, because it's top. It doesn't matter. Top
16
three
points after
2 nights.
Yeah.
But like Donnie knew he was in because he finished.
Like 10 guys. Yeah, 10 guys made it from the Wednesday show, and only 6 from
Thursday
show. Yes.
So Gravel won Wednesday night.
Brian
Brown taking the hometown victory, but that was kind of the Duane loves his inverts, right? Whereas Kyle Larson started 8th in his heat race.
Yes.
Was he fast qualifier?
Yes.
So he started 8th in his heat race, but didn't transfer in.
Right.
So he had to race the B main. He started like 21st in the B main and came up to what, second? Was he second or? Yeah, he was second.
But like he said, 11 cars are a give me, because there's one of the worst sprint car crashes I've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah, so Paul McMahon,
and it's funny because there's a lot to that crash. Okay, so first, Carson Macedo plain ass messed up, and he said, "Dude, it's my fault." I mean, at his first lap, I mean, I get it, it's Knoxville, but Paul,
Thursday night was the rain delay night as well, yes, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
correct, anyway. And Paul had a good talk. I mean, Paul was done; he was still having head issues. But like Paul said, he goes, he's got a lot more nationals. This might be my last one. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder for me to find a quality ride to take to Knoxville. But anyways, that crash. So yeah, it started with Paul and Carson, And then Sammy had it made. He was weaving through it, and then here come Marx's Dumpsy, just full tilt, full throttle.
Yeah,
never let off. I mean, ass packed McMahon big time sitting there, which engulfed his fuel cell.
Popped his fuel cell like a zit.
Yes, and that's what flying Sammy. Then he flipped. Well, then Madsen come in there and he flipped. Well, then because he come in there full throttle too. Gary Madsen and hit Macedo that was stopped dead in track, and he flipped big time. Well, then that's when the safety guy started running. Then Mike Wagner come and spun and run around, and here come Larson. I mean, here's Dumpsy flying through the air. Here's Sammy flipping. Here's Mike Wagner and Macedo, and Larson just go whoop 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 whoop, and
right
he came through it.
Yep.
And then the next part's the safety guy. That guy, I don't know if you've seen the video, but
that's what every safety guy needs to do.
Oh yeah, and he was prepared. He didn't get to the scene and sitting there dicking around with his pinning or going. Well, I mean, he's starting to shoot his chemical as he's running up there, and he's seen fire, and the cars were still rolling on the track. I mean, he was out there.
Yeah,
which Paulie got out quick, but he even said he don't remember.
He doesn't remember. Yeah,
no, because his head was. But if he would have been knocked out, which he thought he came to half was until he felt flames
but he would have been in the car with it on fire
big time. That fire
that was hard to get out because of what two other guys joined, and that still was kind of a struggle to cap it off.
It was.
I was wondering if they need the purple fire extinguishers. Those are kind of the ones they say nowadays. But
it's crazy. There's flips. I mean, 4 or 5 cars flipping. Parts everywhere.
Yeah,
big fire.
Say I didn't examine it as close as you. I watched the Paul McMahon side because obviously that was kind of the story, but I saw Larson get through it, but I didn't really notice what happened with Sammy, what happened with Wagner, all those guys.
Was the story.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
They interviewed Sammy, and I mean, he did. He had it cleared, and Dumpsy, after he ricocheted off, he started flipping and caught Sammy's wing and flipped him over. And first interview Sammy. Sammy, what happened there? Well, what the hell that black car was thinking, just comes in there full throttle, didn't have the brake, didn't have nothing. Ricochets off me, flips me, he goes, these guys just basically just driving with their heads up their butts. He goes, and then they interviewed somebody else, I forget who it was, and they're like, yeah, pretty much what Sammy said. You can't say anything rather. He pretty much summed it up.
Yeah, it's a shame some of those guys are so heavy on the right foot. It's
dude, the way Madsen hit Macedo, and I get it. But there's already a lap in, so it wasn't. And yes, you're flying down the backstretch, and it's a fast half mile. Blah 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 blah. But there's race receivers there. There's instantly on there. The red light's instantly flashing.
Yeah,
and you got to be. If you're looking ahead, it wasn't like it was a small crash where. Well, I mean, you're looking ahead, but I mean, literally, Madsen. I don't think he ever left throttle. Dumpsy never left throttle. I mean, if you see Madsen hit Macedo sitting in the track, I mean, sparks. I mean, it was just.
I have to watch the replay again.
Oh, you'll have to because I can't believe Macedo wasn't hurt. In all honesty, I mean, he hit. He had to be going 120 when he hit him.
Jeez.
I mean, just
like I said, I was watching. Paul McMahon's initial contact was fine. He was probably a little wonky, but the fire part wasn't an issue. And then that's when you notice, was it Dumsney comes through too fast and literally just hits him enough to wipe the tail tank off of it, and that's when you have your issue. And it's like, if that doesn't happen, the wreck's probably, Paul McMahon's in a lot better shape, and luckily he, like you said, he got out. But if he was knocked out, that would have been a lot worse. So
so it was crazy. Larson somehow snaked his way through it.
Yep.
But it was a good race. Brian Brown, it's funny because he sat behind us at lunch. I was with Chad and Chris Wilson and Amanda. We had lunch together there, and
Chocolate Chad.
Yes, Chocolate Chad.
Chocolate Chad.
We were sitting there, and they said, "Well, he sat behind us yesterday at lunch, and it was cool. He talked to us. Hey, you guys enjoying your national?" And Brown's always that way.
Yeah,
that's one thing I like about him, because when we used to have Lucas Oil suite, his suite was next to us, and when I had my mom and dad up there the first time, and my mom's looking over there, and Brian waves, and he comes over, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Brian Brown," and just he's just that guy. He's like, he'll talk to you, And he's in there, oh, hope you guys have a good lunch, hope you enjoy your nationals, blah, blah, and that's just
he's a good representative.
Exactly. Good, good.
For the
he's
sport,
always been that
for
way.
the sport, for sponsors, for his team, everything. Yep. For the track.
So yeah, he won on Friday or Thursday.
And then the former, I think they only did it. Well, they only do it for a year, maybe 2 years. They didn't do the Speed Sport Challenge thing anymore. It's Hard Knocks Friday.
It is, because now you go right into the A main.
Yeah.
And because before it went by points and they just did, okay, you're going to start like the top of the C or whatever. But now, you can elect. So after Thursday, the top 16 are locked in the A.
Yep.
The next 10 are locked into the B. Well, if you're one of those 10 that's in the B, you can say, nope, I'm tapping out.
Gonna race Friday.
So you can automatically get an A. But if you're screwed, you might end up in the E.
Yeah.
Or the D. And see, Dan Osowski did that one of his last nationals and screwed himself. So none of them tapped out. So 26 cars made it. So a 71 was eligible for Friday, and of those 71, 69 raced. Just PPM and
Paul McMahon.
PPM's crash was another one.
Yes.
Well, that was nasty.
Yeah, he said that was probably the hardest one he's ever taken.
Well, and see, at Knoxville, there's the front stretch fence, and then you get the big guardrail.
Tall fence.
The guardrail.
Yeah.
Up in turn one, and he's flipping on just a little guardrail, and it actually hit the butt end.
Yeah.
Cage first of that big tall guardrail, and that was nasty. He's lucky too.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some really nasty crashes Thursday night, but yeah. So then we went to Friday for Hard Knocks for the top 4, and they go automatically to the A main on Saturday. And Rico,
getting her together, man, getting a good run put together, which was good to see.
He was.
We talk about him being, he's been closer lately, and
Jack
running up front
was kind of talked though. He was holding on in the top 4.
Who was it that? Brooke Tatnall. I saw Wade Unger talking to him, and they were talking about Friday. He goes, "Yeah, we took the kids to Slideways on Friday night. We didn't even watch the races." He goes, "But I came back for the A main solely because Jack Hodenshield was sitting on the front row."
Yes, and he led for a while, and he was holding on. You could tell he had to be getting tired, because the last 5 laps he was not hitting these lines and throwing it in, and ended up not transferring.
I saw that
to the A, but Rico, popular win too.
And Brent Marks, Zierfoss, and who was the 4th transferred in?
I don't remember.
But so that makes sense, because I was kind of asking
Sheldon.
What? No, Sheldon races B main.
Oh no.
Remember? Because he had the
photo finish.
Yeah, photo finish thing. We'll figure it out one of these days.
Not Sheldon. I don't know.
Everyone's probably screaming at us right now while listening. You dumb sons of bitches.
That's right.
I was just trying to go from memory. See how I should know better, because let's face it, Duane was at Knoxville. Memory's probably limited, to say the least. Let's put it that way.
I remember who won everything.
Hey, that's
nobody wants to know who got 3rd.
I know, nothing wrong with that. But here we go. Zierfoss Macri. Yeah, right, first ever start. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Macri. Rico, Macri, Shane Stewart, Brock Zierfoss.
Yes.
That's who the final 4 were. So that was kind of my question, which now it makes sense when you lay out the format, because I'm not as familiar with the format. I was like, why the hell are those guys got to start behind the B main cars? They should earn it in, but it makes sense. Like you said,
locked in. So
the B main's the risk, so you kind of get rewarded a little more if you take up that risk.
Exactly.
So, and then Carson Macedo, Kerry Madsen, Corey Elias, and Sheldon Hodenshield were your B main cars that transferred in. So yeah, Danny Dietrich made it in. Justin Peck made it in. The top 16 we're talking. Tatnall. He had a good qualifying effort, the one night. Ian Madsen made it in the 49X car. So, Justin Henderson, he's a local there, been running well. But the big talk was Gio Selzy starting on the pole.
Yes.
19-year-old freaking kid, man.
He was. And everybody was kind of like, do you think he can hold it? Yeah. And even he said afterwards, he goes, because he got 4th. He goes, I drove to, I think, he goes, and I honestly think I drove to the best possible ability that I can right now. He goes, it's just that the 3 best sprint car drivers in the world beat me.
Yeah.
He goes, in all seriousness, he goes, the 3 best sprint car guys, he goes, I think I drove to the best talent that I have right now with this team. He goes, next year, I hope to come back better. And he goes, but literally the 3 best sprint car drivers in the world beat me.
Yeah.
He goes, he goes, sweet. Larson, Schatz are the 3 best sprint car drivers in the world.
Yeah, it's not too much of a slouch.
Yeah.
Finish in the Knoxville Nationals on top of it.
No.
I mean, yeah,
Of course, Kyle Larson won Saturday. That was a good show.
Who's that?
176. Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson.
Yes.
Larson, French.
Yes.
Yeah, so he topped his Eldora wins
by
winnings by $1,000.
Yeah, but $1,000.
But it was like Donnie, like the $1,000 a lap thing was great for like Donnie because I think he got 89 grand because he led so many laps.
And Gio got like 13 grand for leading.
Yeah, like these guys, so that's cool to me.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, if you don't win, you can still, if you can run up front for a few laps or, like you said, first half was kind of the exciting half, and
it was battling back and forth. The second half turned out all right because I think if Donnie wouldn't have showed himself 2 laps to go, it would have been different. And Larson even said, he goes, I was holding on, and he goes, I seen 15 was coming, and he goes, I was like, I hope I hit my marks. It's funny. Did you see his interview? He was talking about, he says, first time I had butterflies in 2 to 3 years. And he goes, I'm sitting there at cup practice, and all I can think about is like Knoxville. Like, imagine Hendrick loved that.
Oh, yeah. But he's getting as much or more publicity from the dirt side than he is the NASCAR side anyway.
I like to have $1 for every t-shirt he sold last week.
Yeah, no joke.
Or Caitlin, because she had her shotgun sweetie.
I saw.
Dude, t-shirts were.
That's what you're saying.
Is my t-shirts, hats, like the Knoxville event shirts. Some of the trailers literally, how, towards the end of the season, you see $10 shirts from the.
Yeah.
They was literally sold out of everything. There was not one shirt in some of those trailers. I mean, none, 0. No matter what.
Wow.
And a lot of teams sold. I mean, Hod Shield is just farewell, which he had a cool thing after he didn't make it Saturday night. He went to the front stretch and waved. He stood out there, waved everybody, and Wade interviewed him. And they went to the back stretch and did it. Well, then Wade's driving him back around from the back stretch to the front stretch, going down the front stretch. And there's Jack cracks a beer on the golf cart, still in his driver's uniform.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. Gonna have a beer on the front stretch while I retire too. So
yeah.
But that was cool. And yeah, the B main on Saturdays where, it was tight. A lot of people, even Jack, a lot of people think Spencer Basin made it. But, I mean, it was close. And transponder said Sheldon. I mean, I can see kind of by the replays that depending on where the start finish, that's the thing, where the start finish line.
Yep.
It's all those deals. Where's that at? And
so how were
0.008 of a second.
So Saturday was the day that everyone ran alphabet soup too.
Yes. 5 features.
How'd those go? And
good. I mean,
did anyone load up early from accident?
Yeah, there's a few.
Obviously, your accident guys, some of those didn't.
Yeah, Paul McMahon scratched, which he was in the B main.
Mm-hmm.
So Zeb Wise, his teammate, which I was surprised they let him do it, but Zeb scratched from the C and filled in for Paul on the B.
Yes,
but he had to go to the tail.
Gotcha.
Which Zeb was already subbing for Buddy.
Yes, in the 5XX car.
Yeah, but those went decent. I mean, the track's pretty narrow.
Yeah,
E and D, there wasn't a lot of padding, but actually there's some pretty decent races. Harley White had a good run. Some people had some decent runs. And I was thinking some people like Greg Wilson won a heat one night. Sammy won a heat in the B main one night. And
yeah, it is kind of weird how some of these guys seem to you think they had a good night, but they invert 8. So if you start in the pole, your qualifying effort was kind of shit.
Well, that's the trick of Knoxville. It's okay. So the A main pays the same points as qualifying. Almost, because it's 200 to top qualifiers, 200 to win the A,
and 100 for your heat race.
Yeah,
because 500 is the best you can get.
Yeah, so it drops like the heat races basically drops 2, or the A main drops like 2. I think qualifying does too. Well, yeah. So and the invert 8, which here we go with the invert deal. Some people track's doing 5 heat races, so you got 10 guys starting. The 10 quickest guys, and half of them made it.
Mm-hmm.
Over half of them. It's just like. Some of the guys had no issues passing.
And all you have to do is and the other thing is all you got to do is finish. All you got to do is easy to say, right? If you're fast qualifier, you start 8th, but if you finish top 4, they line up by qualifying for the feature.
Exactly. Invert 8.
So if you're the fastest qualifier and you finish 4th in your heat, you start 8th in the feature. Right. So,
so half the guys made it. I don't know if they're, well, how come the other half didn't? So over half the guys made it still from the 8th spot or 7th or 8th spot. So, but yeah, they went good, but yeah, that's how it goes. So yeah, you can have, because you got guys like Greg Wilson that won a heat race, and Sammy won a heat races in the A main. Then they're in the C on Saturday because the qualifying wasn't the greatest. Or like Harley White, she made it through the B main to the A main on her qualifying night, but her qualifying effort wasn't that good, and it's still single group car as so there's 50 cars a night, and you're qualifying against everybody. It's back to
they're not flights or groups.
Yeah, so if you go out first, and the track does change there from first to 50th, trust me.
Yeah, well, and to Dwayne's point, and to never-ending argument, I saw a lot of people expressing how awesome the heat races were.
Yeah,
so
they were. They was excellent. I mean, and like I said, that's what makes Knoxville, and they make them drive, and it's exciting. I mean, the heat races were excellent. I'd say probably the dullest was probably Thursday's A main was probably the dull. I mean, Brown got up there and did good, but I mean, it was still decent, but it wasn't as exciting as Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday A main. But you have that every once in a while, but it wasn't bad racing at all. But yeah, the heat races are great. I mean, those heat races are good, and plus I like the format because one, it's a 40 invert, and you get guys to make the A main that get some decent money. And to me, that's what makes the Nationals so tough. It's one, it's not a give me, but two, it gives the little guy. That's why they get 100 cars, and some of these other shows don't, because you give the little guy a shot to make it. If he gets a good run in the A main, he might get enough points to be in the A main, he or she.
Yeah. Well, like you just said,
4 girls
of the top 16, how many were really true outlaw regulars?
Right. And McKenna Hasse, she's another, she's female that won a heat race.
Yeah.
And stuff. So that's what I mean. There's it's cool to see that happen, especially at the Nationals, because the Nationals is tough. I mean, just like Sammy, there's a lot of people, and we know he wasn't in the best car, but he won a heat race in a B main at 65 years old, going for his 46 Nationals, and on hot, he was wore out. Trust me, I went down and got my picture taken with him. He was wore the hell out, because he's only raced two 410 races this year. I was
going to say,
3 410
has
races.
it even? Yeah, I was going to say,
I don't even know it's been that many.
I was going to say half a dozen, but that seemed high.
Yeah, I mean, he's ran a few 360 shows, but yeah, and
so yeah, I was going to say, with that Knoxville being tough comment, all I think of is when Danny Dietrich being on the podcast over the winter. I remember Mansfield was having their race the same week, just to give guys another option is all it was for. It wasn't to compete. But Dietrich goes to Knoxville, runs all of his nights, comes out looking like shit, and says, we're pulling an all-nighter to drive to Mansfield because we got to cut our losses here.
Right.
And then this year he makes it through his prelim night. Yeah. He's the last guy to make it in, and he's good to go.
Oh, he's
like how crazy is that? You know?
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. That's what's neat about Knoxville, because you always have a local that makes it, that you're like, oh wow, but their locals out there are good. Like Brooke Tatnall, I'd say that would be that guy this year. Like, oh wow,
Justin Henderson.
Yeah, well, and Justin's not as big a surprise as Brooke Tatnall, because Justin has made the A before, but But
Tatnall hasn't had really a full-time ride all year.
No, exactly.
Or last 2 years. Right?
And but yeah, and there's always some good guys that have terrible luck, like Jacob Allen, E-Main.
Oh yeah, I saw he was buried.
Well, he was leading the one night and blew a tire.
Yep.
And he didn't have the greatest quality, and that'll kill you. I mean, and one thing about Friday that's jazzed up, because Friday was kind of the day. It's like, because they locked the top 50 in, so you have 51 on back fighting for spots and money and just spots in the C, D, and E.
Yeah,
basically. And a lot of people's like, not that there wasn't good people, because there's always some good guys stuck in there.
Yeah,
but it's like, and they started them straight up, but it was just kind of boring. And like, we need the jazz. But if you had, say, like Jacob Allen, a blown tire on Wednesday or a blown engine, like there's some guys like Tim Kading.
Yeah,
he went through 2 cars and never even got a lap in on Wednesday night.
Yikes!
Through 2 cars.
Yeah, I saw he was buried in points. I didn't see what happened.
Yeah,
so.
they didn't get a qualifying lap, and they bring out a backup car because they didn't qualify, so you can start scratch. That one lasted 2 laps.
Jesus.
So, but Friday is a clean slate. So you can have a junk night and like, okay, let's get our shit back together, or let's get a new car taken out or whatever. And it gives you a chance to be back into the A main, which that I think that's another reason they get more cars or back to cars. Cause when I first started going, they used to get 150, 60 cars because everybody would run an A main or run a main on Saturday. Well, now then they changed it to a 100-car format on Saturday. Which, they at one time this turned 40 cars away on Saturday, but then they just started getting, okay, now 88 cars show up, now 90, because they're like, well, you only want 100 cars here. Okay.
Now you're back to the 110 and all that.
So,
which is about as good as you're probably going to get nowadays.
I mean, you could have maybe got a few more, but the pay is great. I mean, even if you go out there and suck ass bad, I think the least you can get's like $800.
Yeah.
If you finish dead last and everything is heat race pays all throughout every night, the C's, everything. So, I was good. It was a great nationals. I had a lot of fun. We had some new people go with us. Jimmy McGrath, Courtney McGrath, Chris Wilson, Amanda, Chad's girlfriend's never been there. So we had some newbies around us, and ran into people, like I said, Jonathan Bateman, a bunch of our Dirt Nerd fans.
Yeah, you said lots of Dirt Nerds fans, or a good amount of Dirt Nerds fans.
Brad that works at that Missler late model shop.
Oh yeah, Winkle.
Yeah,
Tinkle.
He don't know anything about sprint cars anymore because he's a late model guy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He'll like that.
I wake up one morning with Snapchat with Duane and some guy yelling at me about late model sucking.
That's Jake from Mount Holly, North Carolina.
So he's probably buddies with Fergie then.
He is.
From Mount Holly.
He is.
And then you said you're getting pictures with Sammy while you're getting a thumb up your butt and people are yelling Dirt Nerds at you.
Oh yeah, getting goosed and
so
people is over there, Dirt Nerds forever. And I think Sammy's like, what the going on around here? It's like, because he kind of looked like what's happening right now.
They're probably used to people yelling about your brother to him more so than
exactly.
Dirt Nerds. But that was good to know we got more than 6 listeners. Put it that way. So,
but yeah, we had some good times. I've got a lot of free drinks at the Dingus from Dirt Nerds fans. I can tell
that's
you that.
Scary.
I know it.
Maybe I need to visit.
You should. I unfortunately, I had some people ask where you were. I said, well, more than likely, he's probably in his skirt baking cupcakes and cookies, but I'm not sure.
Don't you worry about my skirt and what I do.
But yeah, so you was catching some shit.
I expect nothing else.
But
you catch, trust me, there's plenty of shit.
But you talked to Blake. Hey, I went to the trunk bar.
Okay.
The trunk bar, that was cool.
What's the trunk bar?
Well, it's a car with a trunk. Okay. I didn't know what it was either, but Blake Anderson's always talking about it.
Okay.
So there's this dude. I don't know how legal it is, but
we won't talk about it. This sounds shady already, but besides the point,
he's always up at the band and he backs up his, I don't know, looks like a Chevy Priest, maybe, I don't know. He is 2 o'clock in the morning by that. I'm not sure.
Just some guy backing up.
It's a silver car. I'm gonna tell you, the trunk. Well, he packs a cooler full of beer, and for a free will donation, you can grab a beer out of there. Then the money that they raise goes to they pick a hard luck. At the Nationals. So it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
And Blake Anderson promotes it a lot. So I was over there with Brian Dunlap.
Cool.
Talked to Brian Dunlap from Dirt Vision, which he was ready for a beer.
I bet.
After
all you people bitching about Dirt Vision, that goes to our friend Brian. So be nice.
Yes. He like he said, obviously it was not their plan for that to happen. They're just trying to upgrade the system before Knoxville because they didn't want any circle spinning wheels of death and screens freezing up because obviously it was going to be the biggest watched
race they have all year
and
added cost and all that.
And it
so be nice to Brian, people.
The upgrade did not go as planned, obviously.
Now, and technology's fun like that. So
Brian says they're gonna get it all smoothed out.
And he needed a beer, understandably so.
But I've seen Dean Mills. I just seen a lot of people. Just a lot of people I hadn't seen for a while too. A bunch of media people and different people. But I got to drink at the trunk bar. Obviously the Dingus. like Brady Bacon was there. He wasn't racing, but he was there. So
That's right. He raced 360s, but he didn't race 410s, did he?
Nope. KTJ was there hanging out a couple days. Clinton Boyles, a lot of USEC guys were hanging out a little bit.
Cool. Talk to Wes Irwin at all?
No, he was always busy and didn't really get to see him.
Well, happens. It's a good thing for him. That means business is booming.
Yes, it was. Oh yeah,
like you said, t-shirts were crazy. So
selling crazy amounts.
Who had, and okay, in your opinion, they did some best appearing and best retro.
Yes.
But Corey Eliason won best appearing. The 15M, the Mark Kinzer throwback, won the best retro. Minzer.
Yes, Bobby Minzer.
Yeah.
Local guy out there.
Yep.
Which that was a cool one.
Yeah.
What
one do you think?
I obviously wanted to pick that one. I mean, I shouldn't say obviously. I mean, a lot of people thought that was the one.
Yeah.
Mark Kinzer did. I really liked the, and a lot of people didn't like it because it was pink.
I was going to say, Justin Peck's to me was the coolest.
Yeah, I thought that was. I really did. I thought it was cool because
obviously Jack's is close.
But Jack ran it all year. I mean, if they would have did something a little spicy to it, but that same car he's ran all year. And how's it a throwback if that's your final? I mean, I get it. It is a throwback, but
make it special.
Yeah, and they had a best helmet deal, which James McFadden won that. Pappy Nappy.
Yeah, saw that.
I hate to put that up.
And Sheldon's car was a throwback to his dad.
It was.
It was a little different, but
yeah, there's some throwback. Casey Kane.
Yes, that was a cool one too. That one was a tough
one.
That one. So did I. That was a tough one.
And Eliason, I thought that was a cool one. I liked Macedo's. A lot of people didn't with the gold. And, a lot of people didn't like it. I did.
I probably liked Eliason's a little better, but I don't know if I would have said Eliason's was the winner.
Pittman had a throwback in the Swindell Speed Lab car. Titan car.
Shane Stewart was running a little bit of a special scheme. I don't know if it was either throwback necessarily, but
no, I don't.
There's another, round
one best appearing team.
I thought Eliason did. No, Macedo did.
They had they have
the all white
car. Yeah, then they have team.
Team was Macedo.
Okay,
because it was the
That's
all
the
white.
One I didn't know.
Yep, it was the all white. I do remember that because it's got Tarleton across the front of it. But speaking of like huge, congrats, round of applause. Shane Stewart not racing 410s. He's raced the last 2-3 weeks to get everything shaken down, and through this ride together, and he freaking ends up making the show. So pretty cool there.
Yeah, I mean, and he's tough at Knoxville. He really
He always has been. Yeah,
Gio Salzi won the Jesse Hockett.
I saw that. It was $6,000.
Yes,
for that award, and then I think like second and third pays too.
It does, and it goes. It starts at the 360 Nationals, and it goes whoever has the most point or the best
all around type of deal.
Yes, because it goes front row challenge, the Knoxville team.
And Capitani probably.
Yes, Capitani and Knoxville, and Gio had the best.
So like the full 2 weeks, pretty much.
Yes.
So that's
there's
cool.
been some cool people in that.
It's named after a cool guy. I mean,
besides Shane Stewart's been a winner of it.
Yeah.
Sammy Swindell's been a winner of it.
That's $6,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like 6,500.
Yeah,
Gio won it, and and I don't think they're like, what's it mean to?
Yeah, who was Jesse Hockett?
Well, no, they're like, what's it mean to win the Jesse Hockett deal? He goes, it means a lot to Bernie. It's like,
yeah.
Because I know Bernie's been wanting that. He goes, it meant a lot to Bernie. It's like,
I think there's a little bit of a generational gap.
Yes, exactly.
Put it that way.
Like
Jesse was always one of my guys.
Not that he meant any ill will, but just when he came off, was like, it means a lot to Bernie. Like,
yeah. Jesse Hockett was always one of my favorites. So obviously, guys like us definitely know what it means. But
it was cool. I mean, went to our usual Mr. C's, the Rib Shack, the good old places to eat.
So the question is,
yes,
October, Larson can do something that only 2 other guys have done. Do you know what this is? Have you seen this stat?
In October,
National Open.
Oh yeah,
Kings Royal, Knoxville, National Open.
All 4,
all 3.
Oh, all the big ones. But see, him and Sammy now, because everybody was like, "Well, he's won the Chili Bowl, the Kings Royal, and Knoxville. Nobody's ever done that." Like, Sammy Swindell's done it.
Yeah. So, but as far as the wing sprint cars, Doug Wolfgang and Donnie Schatz are the only 2 that have won Eldora, Knoxville, and National Open in the same season. and not Donnie did it in 2007.
Well,
that's the most recent.
and
So
Larson had Chili Bowl.
yeah, so you can
Prairie
add
Dirt Classic.
Yeah,
Could add a World 100 to it.
Yeah, I don't know how that'll play out, but
does
it focusing on the main three for the wing
right.
sprint car? Does he do it? You think?
I don't know.
He's had success at Williams Grove.
Lance Deweese is going to stop it.
That's true. Lance Deweese. You son of a bitch, Lance.
Lance is going to stop it.
Lance is going to stop it.
I think Danny's going to come back a little jacked up.
Dan Dietrich?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's
been racing hard.
Yep.
Well, and you look, and if you look at the sprint car fan message board, some of the people.
They're pretty smart guys.
Yeah. Because it says right on there, top for the month of money.
They should start a podcast.
Well, you guys are all, how did Donnie get $136,000 with one win? Well, it paid $75,000 for second, and he got lap money.
Yeah, so he got 89.
Yeah, and there was 12 other races in the month of money that pay a minimum of $1,000 to $3,000 to start.
Yes,
and some of those he finished up, which he's going to get
more pay. Yeah.
So you talk. There's 99,000 in 2 races. Well, there's 12 more races.
Yeah.
So people, again, but what I thought was funny about that stat, the top 2 people aren't World Outlaw regulars. The last guy on there is not World Outlaw regulars. So 3 of the top.
Who are the top 2? Gio?
Larson
and
Courtney.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he won the That's right.
That was Donnie.
Yeah.
And then Dietrich's in there too.
Yeah. Well, because he ran second at the one Kings Royal.
Yeah. So the Outlaws and their big month of money where they get most of their money, top 2 is not even outlaw drivers. Yeah. And another one in there is not an outlaw driver. So they got to be licking their wounds a little bit. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah. Well, and
it's never happened.
Courtney's obviously is heavily swayed by one victory. So
yeah, but he's ran up front. He's had to.
Yeah, he's had success. Otherwise, don't get me wrong, but this is a little bit of a caveat of a year, I'd say. But
it is.
But everyone's got the same races too, so
exactly
can't take that much away from them by any means.
So it's gonna go. I thought you was gonna ask me who had the coolest T-shirts.
No, who did though? There's a lot of cool ones.
There's one that I really wanted.
Some tough ones.
There's one I really wanted to buy. Which, speaking of Courtney, was the yellow. It wasn't tie dye, but yet it kind of was, and it said the sun never sets on Knoxville, which he had done, but that one was cool. There's a lot of cool shirts. Brian Brown had some cool ones.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Dobmeyer had some real cool ones.
I saw Sheldon's got some. He had cool shirts, but some of his hats were really cool with the new lightning design.
I wanted to get. I didn't even think about it. Wayne Johnson has a real cool one, just a plain basic throwback in them.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to buy one of those. I screwed up and didn't, but I'd really like to buy one.
So kind of piggybacking on conversation, we'll say that's our Knoxville Nationals talk.
Right, so it was there. Downtown Knoxville, right?
That's what I was going to ask. Is there any other chatter?
Well, he lives there.
Yeah, that's true. Their shop's there.
Well, supposedly he was downtown, and some of my friends seen him and said they's yelling at him. Said he's just kind of looking at him like, because they said they was all waiting for him to take off on a bicycle, and they was going to video it. He rode his bike uptown. Because people ride bikes and all kind of shit around town.
It's probably an easy way to get around.
So I thought that would have been awesome if he would have. He said he's kind of that's like the $1 million question, because you talk to half people, they're like, no, he's fired, and you talk to the other half, no, he's not. Talk to half, they're saying PPM is going to be in the car starting this weekend.
Did you see the ironicness? Irony is a better way to say that. Human that speaks the English language, you'd think would know that.
You talk like me.
Of our buddy Todd Buffenbarger. He wrote an article for the Knoxville program about Reitzel and Knox, Oh
yeah.
And it was before all this happened. He posted a picture of it on social media. Like, well, yeah, that's what happens when you write an article ahead of the event. So it was kind of a funny moment there, but
yeah, it's like, no, that's been kind of the.
I've been hearing more and more that everyone, some media people who put it, I've heard say it's actually surprising the penalty was as limited as it was.
Yes.
And
a lot of people's like, why didn't you race on Saturday or at the Cappy or the Front Row Challenge?
Yeah, because those weren't World of Outlaw races.
Yeah,
technically.
So. And
then the other one was, why did Dennis Roth get fined? He owns the car, but everyone's kind of in the know that Reitzel and his team are really running everything the day to day. So,
Right.
Sound like Roth was not quite happy with,
Oh no,
which we expect.
my guess is that he won't be back in it. I don't know, just because Dennis Roth is that kind of a business guy.
He's a business guy. So
I'm not sure, but who's in it? PPM? That's what people say. I don't know.
It depends if he wants a full-time continue on the Outlaw, how that works, if it's even worth doing anymore.
Well, where's Reitzel land then?
I don't know.
Boffman do something. Maybe that's why Boffman is running the Nationals again.
I don't know. Does
interesting?
Yeah, who knows? Does someone like a Bernie put him in a 71 car? If
I doubt it.
You know, for hit or miss stuff. It depends. Depends what what's needed or what can happen. You know.
Right.
So.
But yeah, I mean, Knoxville's good because you had some guys like Jennington doing decent. Yep. Like I said, Geo. There's a lot of surprises. It wasn't. I think it was probably the most open. I mean, obviously, you got Kyle Larson, but if he would have had a hiccup, I mean, besides Larson, it was pretty open on who could have won that thing.
And think about it.
Our bets, we couldn't bet Larson. It's funny. There's a lot of people is that way. You got to take Larson out of you can't pick Larson.
Nobody can pick Larson.
By the way, Jay Kaiser, I think that's 4 A mains I won in a row betting. 4. Count 1, 2, 3, 4.
If you think about it,
if
Larson's not there in the A main, Donnie Schatz gets his 11th Knoxville Nationals. And that's
he almost did anyway.
Yeah, he was already there close enough, but it's like, it's the talk's been that 15 motors last year, no Ricky Warner, what's going on? And he's right back kind of the old form. He only lost to the hottest driver in the country over the last year and a half. So
and I remember a couple weeks ago, all the scuttlebutt was Kerry Madsen had hands down the win, and Kerry Madsen did what Kerry Madsen usually does. Gets upside down.
Australia fans will not like that.
Well, I mean, he does. I mean, sorry. That's what he does.
That's how it goes sometimes.
But yeah, I think there were some good things. I really enjoyed the forum with the promoters.
Yeah. That seems like it'd be a cool thing to go to.
It's always the biggest one. I actually took Chad and Chris Wilson and Amanda along, and there's some other Attica fans there. And Rex says funny because they asked about dealing with the fair board, and Steve O'Neill's like, "Oh God, there's a whole committee and blah blah blah." And Rex is like, "Oh, whatever." He goes, "We don't have any issues because whatever they want, John just buys them." And then they just go, "Yep, okay, go ahead."
I was gonna say our affair is not that fair is not as lucrative. Attica's fair isn't like some big county fair; it's a private fair. So the fairgrounds really do live off of some of the money.
But yeah, it was cool. I mean, because they bring some different insight. Like I said, a couple years ago, they did what about terrorist deal, and this year is just about fans and just different things. It was just cool. I mean, they talked different things, and Steve O'Neill had some good points about Port Royal, and he's like, I was on it, and I got off of it, and then it started struggling, and he goes, I wanted to get back on, and he goes, it's like, if I'm going in, this is my vision. And he goes, that's why I got off of it last time, because the fair board didn't have the vision of doing all the improvements in that. And he goes, this fair board does. And he goes, obviously, what they've done over the last 5 years has been incredible.
Yeah,
they want to be a Taj Mahal like Knoxville, Eldora.
They're there. I mean, they
are.
They're kind of the East, the track of
one
the
thing.
East.
One thing, and I didn't bring it up because there's some long-winded people there asking questions, but they're like, what's happened in the last 2 years to draw these faint crowds and stuff? And a lot of them's like exposure from Dirt Vision and Flow. Like Rex and Steve Beitler was totally against Flow and Dirt Vision 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
because it's taking away people from the fans. But now the pandemic, that everybody sit there like, and one guy brought it up. He's like, hey, I'm from Texas. I've never seen, he goes, I never seen Attica Raceway Park until I watched Dirt Vision this year. And he goes, now I'm planning to go to Attica Raceway Park. He goes, just because I seen it on Dirt Vision and it looks like a good place, I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so it brought that up, and that's what they said, that brought now those people that sat at home last year and watched it and seen racetracks that they never seen before are showing up at those places. Knoxville, one of them. And one thing I think they all left out, they all talked about, it's just exposure, Dirt Vision, the sport's doing better of, doing better, because Brian Carter was there actually and had a really good talk for a while.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do better of getting not as much dog and pony, 3-hour attention span.
Yeah.
have excitement. When you're down, have, which their excitement is holding up jugs and the pit channel or putting on a helmet uniform thing, which, okay.
It's something.
Yeah, it is.
Someone who's not old and grumpy like us would appreciate it.
Right. But Dusty Hooligans did because they won the challenge for that. But anyways, but it's cool about that. But one thing I think they left out is Kyle Larson. In all seriousness, he's done, I think, as much for bringing fans to sprint cars and late model racing in the last 2 years than as Dirt Vision and Flow.
Yeah. Well, I think
his exposure alone, because people that see it now that didn't know what sprint cars were.
Yeah, and I think part of his story is the adversity he had, right, in getting back to where he is from last year.
But he's also sitting in the dinkus drinking beer.
He's in the dinkus.
In the dinkus drinking beer with people.
Oh yeah,
just hanging out, and him and his wife are always out signing autographs. They're hanging out with kids.
They're normal.
Yes, and he's not. Him and Casey Kane had huge lines after they raced because, like as we said, they unload everything, so they got to load everything back up, and the drivers, some of them get out of there, but they're just sitting there because a lot of fans come down selling T-shirts and stuff, and those guys are signing anything there is.
Yeah,
so it was cool. I did not run into Amy either. I wanted to. She had her new wing on her wheelchair with the Dirt Nerd logos on there.
I saw that. Yeah,
I was trying to find them, didn't run into them, but I did spend a lot more time with the dingus than I usually do.
That's good.
It was good. Yeah, it was cool because everybody found us. I mean, there's a lot of Ohio people in there, and we had our own little meeting place every day. And then our group got bigger. We got Indiana people, then some Dirt Nerds people, and some Kansas people, and Oklahoma people.
Good on.
It was good.
Cool. Well, until next year, I guess we'll see.
See what happens next year.
Yeah.
See if we go back.